Hey everybody, this is Yarince Pascual Mateo, your host here at Espera Que.
Correct.
But a lot of the menial, essential jobs this country has is run by immigrants because a lot of people here got it easy and they don't want to do that type of job, which, again, understandable. But if you're going to waste your time just arresting and kicking out people just because their documentation doesn't look right, or worse, they're just brown and you're just annoyed, and just strip away, make millions unemployed in essential businesses, is going to cause problems. Hence why Trump was doing a little backtracking after the protests, because a lot of his friends who are paying him millions were like, hey, you're hitting my bottom line, buddy. Which, if you still believe this is about getting rid of criminals and elite, horrible criminals who are attacking people, dude, it was so obvious. Trump shows it every single time, and it's really annoying. It's really annoying.
And this is the thing, is that we have one of the most advanced dynamic economies in the world. We have the largest GNP in the world. We drive the worldwide economy, and we do it in fields like technology and biotechnology and so many other things. So a lot of the Americans get those jobs. For them to go up in life and, be upwardly mobile, we have to have people replace them, from the new arrivals 2 or 3 generations ago. Like my grandparents, my dad's parents were new arrivals. They did the menial jobs, and my dad and all of his siblings went to college, and they were first generation white collar workers. And then, now, I've done menial jobs, but my career has been mostly sales and corporate work. Yeah. And none of us, and probably the majority of the people that listen to the show, are going to go out and pick their own oranges and produce and things like that. And these kind of jobs, the backbone of our economy that also is feeding people like you and I, everybody listening to the show eats.
Yeah.
And unless we're going to go on a hunger strike, these jobs are necessary. We have an economy dynamic. We have to have outside labor. We don't have a big enough labor pool because we're a low birth rate country to have enough labor to do these jobs. We just don't have it. And anybody that's unemployed in this country is unemployed by choice, and for the most part. And so we have historically low unemployment. We have a very dynamic economy. And we need the labor. Every Harvard economist out there, every bona fide economist has said, we need a population of over 500 million people. We have 330 million. We're 170 million people short of what we need to be the most efficient.
Yeah.
And we have a third of the population, or a fifth of the population of China, but we have the same amount of land mass. We can sustain more people. We need 500 to 700 million people to live here to do all these jobs and really turn this economy and actually make it better. So these people not only need to be here, they need to be citizens. They need the criminality amongst new arrivals is no higher than the general population.
It's way less than the higher generation, because even then, as they're going there, the United States know it. They go to ports of entry. They don't just sneak in. They go through ports of entry. They're going to be recognized. They will know. They do background checks over there. They actually do that and stuff like that. The whole crossing the border, that isn't criminal, is a civil offense. Passing a fine or something like that. It just happens. And a lot of reasons they do it because they didn't have the time to do it. They were running away from violence. They were trying to get things set up. It happens. Not an excuse to deport people and send them into concentration camps. Yeah. Not really an excuse. And that's why we had these protests, because we have a guy who himself said he thinks he himself is a king, and all of us are saying, no, you're not a king. You're acting like King III, being a piece of crap. Well, the difference is, with the American Revolution, it was about taxes. Now it's just like, hey, treat these people as human beings. This whole entire country was built by immigrants. You kind of need them, which is just how it is, because the protest, it was amazing. We had one of the highest turnouts all over the country, over like up to 4 to 6 million people that came out. In Charlotte, we had a massive protest. At the beginning, I came in early, like an hour early. There was like half the park was full. When everybody was there, it was packed. We marched through pretty much Main Street throughout the whole city. It was really good. And then you see the drone footage from pretty much like LA, Chicago, New York, everywhere. Whole street filled with crowds just marching in with their signs and everything. Well, a little fun thing happening there was Trump's little birthday parade, which it was embarrassing. You could hear the tanks creaking while they were walking down the streets. It was embarrassing. And kind of firing up, because after this, there were threats. Trump over here saying like he is going to go to war with sanctuary cities, which pretty much anyone who is Democratic is opposed to him, which is kind of really concerning, because you're the leader of the country. Why are you picking a war against part of your country for wanting their neighbors to be treated as humans? That's a problem.
And it doesn't make economic sense. And here's the most important point, is that targeting these big blue cities, because this is what he's really doing, is targeting blue cities. Blue cities piss him off, like the biggest California cities, places like Charlotte, places like Chicago, places that have pissed him off because they don't vote for him and they don't bend at the knee. Yeah. And this is what he's really going after. He's going down the enemies list and saying, this is what I'm going to get back. I'm getting back at y'all for 2020. I'm getting back to y'all because y'all are the opposition, and I'm going to crush my opposition.
Yeah. He said that on his campaign.
Yeah. And the last two elections, the 2022 midterms and 2024 presidential election, they beat the drum of economic progress. You cannot make progress by trampling your labor base. Oh, yeah. It's economically unfeasible and sustainable. Therefore, it's the dumbest fucking thing that you could ever do, is that if you want to make food costs go higher, take away the labor. Shut down factories. Yeah. Shut down agricultural processing plants and farms and ranches. Shut all that down by taking away the labor pool. And because that's what's going to happen. And if you think eggs and oranges are expensive now, make the labor costs go up. Make the labor costs double or triple or quadruple, and see how fun it will be. Not to mention the billions of dollars they're spending on in an impossible and non-necessary task, because migrant labor fuels Southern California, Southern New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas. Those parts of the state, those states get a ton of tax revenue from these undocumented and documented migrant workers. San Antonio disproportionately benefits from migrant labor. Its population increases by over 300,000 to 400,000 every growth season. They pay sales taxes. They pay rents. They pay into the economy. They contribute more than they take out because they are not eligible ever for Social Security. They're not taking any benefits out.
They can't access any like Medicaid. They can't access any like stamps. They can't do that because they're not U.S. citizens. Some of them are undocumented.
They're a government mulligan in the economy. They have no cash drain on state, national resources, and they contribute to the economy, bar none, and they create jobs, they create economy, and they turn the wheels of economic progress. And the fastest way to send us backwards is to get rid of your labor pool. Period.
And Florida saw it when they did the whole like banning for immigration and stuff like that, and whole entire construction sites ended because most of the people left. Like, why are they going to? They're not going to come in if you're going to just have ICE just take them from their homes. Like, they have families, they have kids, their kids at school. They don't want to be arrested and deported while their kids at school. Well, thank you everybody for listening to Espera Que. Thank you for being here for me. I'm your host, Yarince Pascual Mateo. I hope you are listening to us here in any of our major podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, whatever. Hope y'all have a wonderful day, and hey, let's survive this 2025.
Bye, y'all.
Hey everyone, this is Christian and Jenny from the Coffee and Pandusi Show. We hope you're enjoying Espera Que with Yarince. It's a great show. Also, I want to remind you to join our show as well, Coffee and Pandusi, every Wednesday at 10 o'clock on your favorite podcast platform. And Jenny's show, Two Queers in a Truck.
Absolutely.
Every Wednesday at 11:30.
2025 is our 2025. If I can get it out right without sounding like I'm we've got two wonderful shows that have joined the family of shows that we've done for 6 to 8 seasons. Yeah. And Yarince is a wonderful host, who's a wonderful guest host with coffee, and a wonderful young man with a lot of great vision and insight. Looking forward to seeing his episodes flourish. And as always, thanks for listening. Otherwise, Christian and I would be just talking to ourselves.
That's right, and we do.
we do. Doesn't keep us from doing that now.
That's right. Enjoy the show, y'all. Bye.
Hello, everybody. This is your host, Yarince Pascual Mateo of the show Espera Que. We're going to have a long, crazy year when the orange shit saint comes back in office. So let's do this, guys.
Yeah.
It's dumb. And it's crazy because, again, immigrants, they're human beings. But we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot because this is the reality of the United States. We rely on cheap labor. We rely on migrants. Truthfully, how it should work is our government rein in these corporates and make them pay everyone, no matter your legal status, no matter who you are, no matter what you're born as or whatever, pay everyone a livable wage. That's it. We just want that. But that isn't the perfect world we live in. And getting rid of the people who are pretty much holding our whole entire economy, our foods resources, our processing, manufacturing, every small little menial task that you deem yourself better than, and they're just doing that, and you're threatening them to sending them into concentration camps and forcing them to go into hiding or just self-deport themselves. And no one's going to be taking over those jobs. And even if they do, they lost that skill because a lot of these people have been doing these jobs for years and they had such good skill. There's a reason why it was so fast and efficient because they're good at this stuff. And now it's going to take billions to rebuild that. And you're not going to get that if you're not even going to bring up the prices, which the salaries, which they're not going to do that. It doesn't matter if you're an American. It's capitalism, baby. We want money.
Well, it's when you're spending money to get rid of a labor pool that you desperately need, and we do desperately need this.
Billions.
We saw in COVID when we had to do social distancing.
Yeah.
How manufacturing and how the industry crashed.
Yeah.
And these same conservatives that didn't want to wear masks were bitching that they didn't have the people working at McDonald's and businesses closed and businesses ran limited hours because they just didn't have enough staffing. The same thing will happen with these mass deportations. The more people they send away, the more staffing problems, agricultural, construction, and all the industries that employ documented and undocumented people. And quite frankly, whatever effect they think they're going to gain from this is going to be devastating to an economy already teetering on a recession. And we're about a massive recession for several different reasons. This is the thumb that's going to push us into another great recession in this century.
Yeah,
mark my words.
Wouldn't be surprised because
we're on our way. I mean, we're going to have a real estate crash next year. Yeah. We're going to have a lot of other things that we're teetering around and skating around for a long time.
Half the government is over budget, like ICE and defense, like they're over $1 billion red and all that stuff. Like we are wasting money. Doge pretty much stripped our government for copper wiring, cut off a lot of funding. They said they saved like what, 500 billion. The new tax breaks they're giving is going to add 2.4 trillion to the deficit. Oh, it's literally a drop in the bucket. It's wild. It's wild because even with that $500 million the most estimated was like what, 10 billion, and that was already ripped up and thrown away with all this like ICE raids and the president's little parade and all that crap shoot. So that is the great world we live in. I wanted to ask, how was it out there in person when you went to the No Kings protest?
I'm, in full transparency, I did not attend the King's protests.
Boo.
I had other obligations, but I was traveling through West Hollywood when we were at the West Hollywood protests, and my wife and I were, and it was packed. It was packed. West Hollywood is its own city, and so all down the main drag, which is called Santa Monica Boulevard, like the song, it was packed. It was packed with rainbows and protest signs, and no Trumpers in sight, but there was a ton of no Kings protesters, and it was massive. I mean, it was very noticeable. A maintenance person that was coming over to replace our dishwasher had a tough time getting here from where he was coming from because there was so many protests across LA. It created a lot of traffic gridlock. It created a lot of nothing violent. It just it was very noticeable though. You could not drive through West Hollywood, and between the restaurants where protesters had finished, protesting and were eating or getting a snack or whatever, there were signs everywhere. Where we ate at this little tea and sandwich shop down the road, I think half the patrons had signs, protest signs, and it was impressive. The show of force, from what I saw locally, was quite simply impressive. And I know I saw a lot of the social media coverage. We probably had more people protesting in West Hollywood than attended the Trump birthday parade. Which dashed the big old Queen's hopes of being a Captain Bone Spurs war hero, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But it was. I am sure that all the mouth breathers of MAGA definitely noticed. I think between what California is doing to push back as a government, and our Governor Newsom has been nothing short of spectacular. So is Senator Padilla and many of our other leadership in our state. They're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're fighting tooth and nail. And we're saying, bring it. If you want a war, bring it. When we shut off everything going out of California to the United States, and we just self-provide, don't come coming to crying to mama when the economy crashes big time. It may be necessary. It may be necessary to consider Oregon, Washington State, and California joining Canada. I mean, I wouldn't have a problem being a Canadian citizen and living in California. Actually, that'd be phenomenal. I would probably get a pay raise. Just on the benefits alone. But the Four Kings thing. My only concern with the Four Kings thing, the anti-king protests. My only concern with it is that it's going to get the same follow up as the Women's March.
Oh yeah.
And that is my only concern. The Women's March was a disaster. Is that they went strong when Trump was president, but they didn't migrate the movement and the Me Too movement to a sustainable long-term messaging platform. And I felt like they used COVID as an excuse. Yeah. And it's a shame because, look what's happened to so many things in this country that are very anti-women, very anti-human rights. Just think of a women's march was still fully running and gunning, how they could have helped this King's protest, how they could help BLM. And there's so many things that could have been done by organizing the fury of women across the country, like we did for 4 years, and we just let that fade and fizzle. And I hope something comes out of these King's protests other than the show of force.
Yeah.
I hope that there's a momentum and a synergy, because well beyond these next 4 years, but into the late 2020s and into the 2030s, liberals and progressives have got to find a way to sustain. And I'm going to take Democrats to the mat right now real quick. Y'all that listen to the show, Democrats, but I'm a registered Democrat, y'all need to grow a spine. We need to quit pacifying and quit letting different affected groups and different ethnic groups fall on the sword. And if you're going to be the cowardly lion of politics, get out of the way. If you're a Democrat that's afraid to speak up, you're in the wrong profession.
Yeah.
You need to find a new profession and let these younger generations of millennials and Gen Zers take over the party, bar none. Anybody my age or older, I'm 55, I'm speaking to you. I'm talking to y'all. If you do have much of an audience for my age and older, I can say you lead, follow, or get out of the way. And a lot of people in the Democratic Party need to get out of the way. There's a lot of dead weight, like the Chuck Schumers, the people that are has-beens or never wases, and they need to make room for the people that we see, like Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett out of Texas, shining star of the Democratic Party. We need to put her on a Xerox machine and duplicate her across the party, because whatever she needs to create the notes for everybody in the House for the Democratic side, because she's nothing short of brilliant. It is the exact counterpoint to the MTGs and the mouth breathers of MAGA.
Well, thank you so much, Jenny, for giving us your 2 cents about the protests and everything. I hope that you are doing great there in California. Yeah. And let's hope that things don't devolve into worse. But I mean, we're barely 3.5 years into this. 0.5 into this. So we'll see how the future goes on. So we're going to come up to our break. We'll be going over the whole World War III bullshit happening right now. And see y'all after the break.
Thank you, everybody, for watching our show. Listening if you're on our major podcast platforms on Spotify and Apple. I'm your host, Yarince Pascual Mateo. Thank you so much for enjoying hearing my annoying voice, and hope you'll have a wonderful 2025. It's going to be a long one.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Hi, everybody. This is Yarince from the Espera Que show over here. All I'm here is doing a little quick PSA. Use this summer to do volunteer work. Go to your nearest YMCA. Go to your nearest homeless shelter. Go to whatever community services or programs that you can help out and volunteer. Because right now, we have a bunch of fascist pieces of shit trying to rip apart our country and rip apart the people, our communities, by spreading hate and bigotry. The best way to combat it is, 1, working in your community and standing strong to show that you are strong and you're here to help out others. 2, combat misinformation. If you hear bullshit, first research and make sure if it's true or not. If it is not true, call it out. If it is true, get the facts. Be knowledgeable of it, because it might come out later. So always stand against that. And 3, fuck fascists. Stand against them. Make them feel uncomfortable. There is too many people out there feeling like they can say the hard R or say slurs or be violent. Make them understand that a lot of people died to make sure this hatred and bigotry does not exist. All our civil rights workers, all the people who restored normity, everybody who fought against intolerance and hatred, they died and worked their asses off to stop this. So follow in their footsteps and stop this madness. This is Yarince again from Espera Que, and all I can say is be there for your community and stand up for what's right. Fuck fascism and have a wonderful day.
Hey everybody, this is Yarince Pascual Mateo, your host of Espera Que. Well, I hope y'all are having a good start of your 2025, because we're going to have a fun, long year listening to the news.
they're accusing Iran of having nuclear weapons of mass destruction, which they're part of a treaty. There's a massive treaty that most countries have, except for United States, UK, France, China, and Russia, where everybody else has to give up their nukes and stuff like that. Which, I mean, it would be best in a perfect world we wouldn't have nukes, because there is literally no reason to use them. Because since a lot of the big powers have nukes, if you use it on someone, they're just going to nuke you too, and it's just going to be the end of humanity as is. Like, Earth is going to be perfectly fine. Earth dealt with way worse, and our nukes poultry to the Earth. But nukes will just decimate anything where there is life, and not really fun. And it would be disheartening for a very theocratic regime who have done a lot of human rights abuses and stuff like that, have a nuke. But here's the issue. The UN came in to do a report in their enrichment facilities for like nuclear enrichment for like civilian use, like, use it for like energy plants or other uranium-based research or stuff like that. They want to do it. They fill those things, saying because they seem to be enriching way more than civilian use, which that is something to worry about. But if they explained themselves and went through an investigation again, that would have been clear. But Israel just took that and ran, said that they have literal intelligence that they have nukes, which, again, they do not. There was no nukes. Were they building up to it? We don't know. They threw missiles before they could ask. And they attacked Iran. And I'm just going to say, like, it's ridiculous. Because here's the thing. Out of this whole situation, there's 3 people in this situation, and only 2 of them have nukes. The United States and Israel. Iran does not. They don't have nukes. Truthfully, they would have been fine not having nukes, but with the issue of being bullied by a nuclear power like Israel or the United States, or they're just threatening to just overthrow you, which, again, it's a theocracy. I'm really against it, but I'm not a part of that country, and we have no right to go and do a regime change, because I'm not going to lie, that theocracy wouldn't have existed if the United States didn't do any regime change after was the Gulf War in the 80s, late 80s, 90s, when they attacked Iran. I would believe.
That's correct. It was the Iraq War?
No, the Iraq War was in the early 2000s, but there was a war earlier, a few decades earlier, where it was in Iran, where they had a democratic elected leader. He wasn't going to give oil to the United States. They overthrew him. That's the United States 101. So democratic leader goes into power. They don't do what the United States want, but care more about its people. They either assassinate that person or overthrow them and put in a dictator in place, which they have to come in later on to fix the situation, which that's pretty much U.S. diplomacy ever since the start of the Cold War. Other than that, it is just a shit show, because right now, Israel and Iran are just shooting missiles at each other. Iran having casualties in the 200s, maybe going up to 400s, where Israel is attacking their Tehran and multiple cities where they have their nuclear enrichment areas, while Iran has been attacking military infrastructures in Tel Aviv and other areas in Israel, where they only lost, I would believe, 24 casualties. Against this will increase. War happens, loss of life. Well, you can see there's something, because right now, Iran is by itself. It has some support from other Middle Eastern countries and stuff like that, but they're not going to be doing anything big. While Israel, they're just swinging around some imaginary big dick. Because here's the thing. Israel instigated this, and now are running to the United States and the rest of the world, crying like a little baby, saying that Iran is going to try to nuke them or attack them, and we should all join up together and attack Iran and start a whole entire war, which, again, one, Trump ran on this whole entire thing of ending wars and be a peacetime president, but The Ukraine war is still waging real hard right now, and Israel is just making things 10 times worse in the Middle East, which I'm not going to lie, that's pretty much most of Israel's history since its conception. They just piss off all their neighbors around them by blowing up their military bases and mass murdering their civilians, then running cry to the West. I hate that label. The West, they just mean all white people, civilizations, which whole nother thing. I'm just tangent here, but fucking hate these labels bullshit. The West, the Western it's stupid. It's dumb. It's the United States and all mostly white supremacy majority colonial states. That's pretty much what the West is. But they just need to feel special, so we'll give it to them. But other than that, they run to the West and try to be protected. But here's the thing. I'm not dying for Israel. A lot of people will not die for Israel, and Iran is about to make this everybody's problem. Which, come on, bruh. I'm not siding with anyone here in this situation. Both of them suck, but Iran is a little bit better. Don't drag me into this bullshit right now. But here we are. And Trump, he's powerless. He keeps on acting like a tough man and a strong man, but he's powerless. Most world leaders either ignore him or mock him to his face, and either he has to pout and cry like a little petty little bitch afterwards, or just be delusional and don't even understand what's going on. And Netanyahu is doing the same to Trump, because Trump over here is like, hey, we're not doing this and all that stuff. And Netanyahu, it is trying his best to get as many extremists and right wings on his side for this dumbass war he is trying to instigate, which is ridiculous, because this is dumb. American troops should not be dying for Israel. Israel is an apartheid state that is committing genocide. If our country so much professes about democracy and freedom, we should not be sending our young men and women to die for an apartheid so it can continue its genocide and attacks all its neighbors for its wealth. We should not be doing this. And it's just more and more a shit show. At least the fun thing is we're dusting off all those old World War III memes we had in like early 2020s when Trump assassinated an Iran high-level officer, which is wild. Because back then, people thought this will instigate something issue. But I'm not going to lie. Rockets are flying. Israel is not making it easier, and Iran is really writing some poetry out there on its Twitter saying that this is going to be everyone's problems if this continues. I mean, Pakistan threatened Israel if they drop a nuke on Iran, they're going to drop a nuke on Israel, which that's just a chain of reaction happening, because I know for a fact if Israel gets nukes, UK might use their nukes, France might use their nukes, US might use their nukes, 3 sets of nukes, which then China and Russia might use their nukes if they have a feeling they might just be crazy. And it's just a whole mess. And I'm just saying, we live in unprecedented and consequential times, and I'm done. I'm fucking done. Like, stop. Just stop. I should have had just like my one 9/11 and that's it. We're having 9/11s every single fucking day. It's ridiculous. But this is 2025. This is the world we live in. This is the bullshit I have inherited from my ancestors, from my past, and this is how it is. I don't blame my parents. They were in the Dominican Republic before this shit show started. But we moved here. We accepted the blame, and I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to keep on doing my civic duty to go out in the community, talk to others, protect my community, call out ICE when there is, and fight against the fascist government. Because right now, that's just another can of worms that sadly we will have to kick down the road and just have to deal with the consequences. Because the only people who have the power to stop this stupidity is the officials in Iran, the officials in Israel, and the United States officials. And I'm not going to lie, Israel just is bloodthirsty and wants to do something. Iran, they're in a corner and is either about to lash out because there might be because Israel is pushing for regime change, and whenever dictators or very oppressive governments are being get the whiff of regime change, they're going to do something drastic and really dumb. And then Trump, Pete Hegseth is most likely drunk right now as I am recording and doing stupid shit, and Trump is picking fights with his own citizens for having the audacity for thinking other human beings are human beings. So, right now, to end the show and end this whole entire thing, all I can say is go out there. If there's a protest happening nearby, go to that protest. If there's civic engagement, like community work you can do, help your community. Go to a homeless shelter, help out, and use the summer to be helpful and do a lot of volunteer work. Just be a part of your community, because I'm not gonna lie, in the next couple of months, it will be tested. Our faith in the American government, our faith in our communities, and our faith in our fellow human beings. And it's best to just build up that goodwill and just be good, because I'm not gonna lie, World War III might start, Civil War might start, shit might hit the fan. Yeah, it might be hyperbole. We might have another 4 really raucous 4 years, and maybe we will learn from this and have someone a lot better to fix this issue, because the damage is done. This damage will last for decades, and it will take a while and some very confident and straight-laced people to fix this damage. And the best I can say is, as one of these citizens, who the best I can do is just help my community and vote, is just do that. Be a good person. Be a role model. Do not tolerate hatred and bigotry. Stand up for what's right. Be heard. Speak up. We have a First Amendment, but Trump might be going against it, but we still fucking have it. And even if he jails you for speaking the truth, you're still in the right. So to end our show, all I can say is stand up for your people, stand up for what's right, be there for your community, and fuck fascism, because right now we are in a shitty timeline, and the best we can do is stay strong and protect what we love. This is Yarince Pascual Mateo, host of Espera Que. Hope you all had a wonderful listening experience, and again, fuck fascists. Let's have a better than interesting times. Can I just have some regular times? Like some regular times, please? Like, I hope tomorrow it ain't another shit show, but here we are. Have a good week, and see you on Thursday. Thank you for watching Espera Que. Hope that you all had a wonderful time listening. I hope if you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, or anywhere where podcasts are. And I hope you all had a wonderful time processing and making your voices heard. Keep that up. That's all we need. Yes, there is a fascist government. Yes, they are using violence and state-enforced violence against us. But we, the people, are strong, and that's the point why the Constitution starts with that. Stand strong, and see y'all next episode. Hey everybody, thank you so much for being at our show today. I hope you had fun watching it on YouTube or listening to it on Spotify or in any major podcast platforms. Thank you for listening to our show. I am your host, Yarince Pascual Mateo, and I hope you'll have a wonderful 2025, because it's going to be a long one. What was that weirdo who tried to do? He was the first one to be the general attorney, except for Pam Bondi from Florida. Activist. Excuse me. Activist. Hey, Johnny.
All right. Excellent.
Hello.
Again.
Hello. Long time no see.
How's it been?
Oh.
It's been good.
Okay, so this segment we're going to talk about the King's protest, and then the military parade, and then also the LA, how LA is burning down.
That ain't happening.
How Jenny is run. The reason you see San Francisco in the background is because Jenny has had to leave West Hollywood because it's on fire. So I'm being sarcastic. Is
it like on fire because of the because there was another forest fire happening?
Correct. Yeah. That's more actually LA burning down.
Yeah.
It was on fire because one of the drag queens in West Hollywood did that Alicia Keys "This Girl Is on Fire." Isn't that a song?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is actually.
Hey, all right. I can see how old I am. I actually remember that. All right.
It has been flaming here quite a bit because we've had LA Pride and WeHo Pride and back-to-back weekends. So the only flames we had was Pride.
When is fire season in California?
About now, actually. It's been kind of dry. It is been a little drier than usual, and we've had a lot of sunshine the last few weeks.
Hey, Jen, hold that. You can talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she is live from West Hollywood. So all right, whenever you want to come back, you're in. Say you're good.
Thank you.
All right. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Thank you, Jenny, for coming.
That was interesting. I really like what you said. That was an interesting talking point that I never really thought about. But they are ICE and them. They're really going after the poor areas, the people that don't have the resources to defend themselves. They're not going to Beverly Hills. They're not going to South Charlotte. They're going to go to. Yeah.
Our mayor has pointed that out. Actually, is one of the problems. In fact, they've done some local fundraisers to help raise money for the legal fees to help protect these people's lives and get them out of the concentration camps and get them, documentation and things like that. So they're definitely going after, the areas that are the most vulnerable or what I call low-hanging fruit. They're not. I haven't seen them on Rodeo Drive or here in West Hollywood, where the fancy shops are out there. They're not touching them, and I damn well know there's some undocumented labor in these areas. We see it every day, so it's a little bit of a shit in the shoebox, in my opinion, and it's kind of sad. It's really sad where the poor get affected.
Yeah, exactly.
So if y'all need me, I'll bone on out.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you for coming by.
I appreciate y'all. I'll come on.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Have fun in San Francisco.
Have fun.
I left my heart in San Francisco. Bye.
Okay, Yarince, whenever you want to come back, your last segment.
Okay. So, we're gonna be doing the Iran. Is it? How do you say Iran? Iran.
Yep. Iran.
Okay. So, Iran or Iran?
Iran.
So.